Hi, Eliza Fayle here, Silver and Grace, and welcome to my very first video in my series Living Intuitively Day by Day, Minute by Minute. What you're going to get in these videos is my personal journey on how I came to live intuitively day by day, minute by minute. Now, I have a confession to make. The stories I'm going to share in these videos have been shared with very few people in my life, maybe some select family and friends, and some of them actually not at all. But it occurred to me that if I am not willing to share my own intuitive journey, then how can I expect other women to? So you're going to get the full inside scoop on how I came to live an intuitive life. So to start this journey, we actually have to go back about 45 years to a 5-year-old Eliza. This is when I saw my very first ghost. Yep, you heard that right, my very first ghost. So what happened was I was lying in bed and I had a childhood ailment like the fever or a bad cold or something. And I could see my doorway at the foot of my bed. So in my doorway was a man. Now this man was not my dad. And at some level I knew he wasn't even real, but I also knew that he was very much there. So in my naive childhood way, I asked my mom who the man in the doorway was, and she turned to look, and of course she didn't see anybody. But to her immense credit, all she said was, "Well, is he a bad man?" And I said, no, he's just there to see how I'm doing." Now, you could write this off as a figment of my childish, feverish brain, but in my 20s, I got a phone call from my mom, and she was at that time researching our heritage home. And she asked me if I could recall this incident where I saw the man in my doorway. And I said, yes, of course I could. And she asked if I could describe him. And I said, yeah, because it's one of those life events that play out as a film clip, you know, in your mind. So I could just replay it at will. So when I was done describing the man, there was absolute silence. There was nothing on the phone. But when my mom finally recovered her voice, she said, "You just accurately described the first man who lived in this house." Well, it turns out that one of the things he was a Sunday school teacher, so it makes perfect sense that he was checking on a child with a fever. My intuitive journey could have ended just as quickly as it started at the age of 5 if my mom had done something very different. If she had tried to convince me that the man didn't exist, then I would have been blocked right there and then. However, what she did was leave me with an extremely valuable lesson, which is that sometimes the inexplicable does not need to be explained. One of the biggest blocks to our intuition, or our biggest challenge to our intuition, are blocks that family, friends, society in general put up for us. The good news is that we can indeed bust through those blocks, and below this video you will find a free worksheet to download. So I really encourage you to download this worksheet, and what it'll help you do is identify your own blocks to your intuition. Also below this video is the comments section, and I want to get some fantastic dialogue going on. So I encourage you to answer one or all of these questions. So the first one is, do you believe in ghosts? And if so, what do you think they are? The second one is, are you comfortable sharing inexplicable events in your life, or is that something you feel it's safer just to keep to yourself? And this one, I invite you to put yourself out there just like I have done with my ghost story. Okay, what event in your life cannot be explained with the logical or rational mind? Now, before I sign off, I also encourage you to look above the video in the product and services section, and there you'll find some really awesome ways that we can work together to fast track to your own innate inspired intuition. Can't wait to share the rest of my intuitive journey with you in future videos. Gracefully yours, Eliza.